Okay, guys, as promised, we're back at the Deco Crete Supply to take a look at this, the way this thing was constructed. There was one element that Jason wanted to include. If you look at this, he's got a hidden camera or a hidden projector that's down here, cut into the hole of the wall here. That projector is being projected against the backside of like a semi-transparent piece of mylar film that's taped and fastened to the bottom. It's basically paper thin, okay? It's paper thin, and it's specifically cut and shaped to be the length of the piece here. So as the water comes down, the water hits that edge, and it has the appearance of completely following down on the floor. So that's a really cool effect. Jason, why don't you go ahead and let's take a look at the underside of this thing and kind of walk me through what's happening.
So anyhow, to make this thing work, we have a counterweight back in this box here, and it is a big steel. It's a 3-inch steel tubing.
Okay.
3/8 inch thick steel tubing.
Okay.
That we ran, and it goes back. It also goes back through right there, only at one spot.
Okay.
I wanted it to be further back on this side of the thing, so it was even harder to see the beam when you walk by.
So it's tucked away as tightly to the left side as possible.
So it made it even harder to see where the beam went through. And what made it cool about the beam is that we also hit our plumbing in there. All the plumbing for the water goes back to the 55-gallon drums of water that are actually holding this table up.
So the water actually becomes a part of the counterbalance as well.
Correct. That was the key. So we have a drain that it drains back into a barrel, and then it just keeps recirculating.
Correct.
So people were kind of trying to figure out too, where's the pump at? This wasn't really enough room to hide the pump, and they didn't know how the water recirculated too. So that was kind of another thing that was cool. But you can tell right here is where we cut a hole in the beam.
Right in the structural tubing.
Yeah, right in the structural tubing to run it back to the tanks.
And then all the way down, connecting to the wall, you've got glass hiding the beam, surrounding it, so it kind of deflects the visual away from anything structural.
That was the whole reason why we put the mirrors in the booth.
Yes, because then they get lost in the mirrors. If everybody's looking around at the mirrors, they don't really take too much notice of another piece of a mirror.
Right.
So that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this whole piece, this casted piece, is nothing more than GRFC that you casted.
Right. So the whole table only weighs 300 pounds.
300 pounds. But of course, 300 pounds all the way out here, some 12 feet out, it has some significant. So what's the type of steel that you used here? What was it, like a?
The steel. This steel is 3/8 tubing.
3/8.
3/8 inch thick. It's
inch
heavy.
thick.
The steel weighs about as much as the countertop.
Wow, and that's about what's needed to pull it off.
Right. Yep.
That's really cool, Jason. Awesome. Well, the effect is intense. I got to tell you, it's just a really intense piece. And it looks really good on camera too. In fact, it looks better on camera than it does in real life. You know, you can pick up the colors.
You can't even see.
Exactly. That's really awesome. Wonderful. Excellent, bro.
I've got to record.
You've got to what?
I've got to get my camera.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you got to totally check that out. Hey, Greg, check this out. Isn't that nice? That's really nice. All right, guys. Blowing our minds. Deco Crete Supply.